day. Does it break your heart?
Well, puppies do give an awful lot of love to everybody, and there is not a bad dog born. They are just so loving from the moment that they're born, and they're just so keen to be with people. Unfortunately, it's the way that they're treated for the rest of their life that really makes dogs bad dogs, and perhaps aggressive dogs.
So you ought to have phoned in yesterday morning then, because we were talking about dangerous dogs and bringing back the dog licence. Your take on that, firstly, would the dog licence help, and would it reduce the number of bad dogs on the streets?
I'm not really sure quite how it would help. I think the major drive should be to reduce the number of puppies born, and legislation to help increase the number of dogs that are neutered, because what happens is somebody's bitch accidentally becomes pregnant, and from that moment onwards the puppies are unwanted by the owner, and when they're born they're disposed of like throwaway items. I had a box of 8 puppies left outside the gate. The people who left it there didn't realise whether or not I was in. They didn't bother to check, and it was very cold night. The puppies were in really bad condition. They were starving. They hadn't been worked. They had ear mites. They had runny eyes. So from the moment they're born, for some people it's a disposable item, and then it's so easy to adopt a puppy because they're so cute. But there are a lot of problems that come with puppies, of course, house training, chewing, and...
So I can deal with all that, but I'm a realist. I've always wanted a dog, and the one thing I resent my mother for more than anything is she never allowed me to have one, but she made a good point, really. Now in my adult years, I love holidays, and I love going, for example, from the 11th I'll be off for 2 weeks. Who takes care of the dog? You've got to be real about it, haven't you? It's a massive commitment, and it is like having a baby.
I mean, as daft as it sounds, in our experience, people will get rid of dogs because they're going on holiday. People actually phone me up and say, can you please have my dog to rehome it? We're going on holiday in a week's time. And actually, sometimes I'm even lucky if I get a week's notice.
All right, so let's go through some of your figures that you brought in this morning then. Dogs rescued in August 2008 to August 2009, 171. Number of puppies, 12. Then we've got dog rescued August 2010, 2009 to 2010, 324, so it's almost double. The puppies have gone up from 12 to 42 in a year. That's extraordinary, isn't it? Now, is that economy as well, because they're not cheap?
Well, the really staggering thing for me is that no matter how much somebody has paid for a puppy, it does not protect it from being abandoned or being handed in to rescue as an unwanted dog. I mean, we've had pedigree puppies, German Shepherds, Akitas, Staffordshire Bull Terriers, Scotty Terriers, Shetland Sheepdogs, Dachshunds, Whippets, Rottweilers, Yorkshire Terriers, some very, very expensive, some very, very attractive breeds, but people just don't realise what they're getting. They're quite happy to spend the money, but they're not happy to give the commitment.
I'll tell you the one I'm after is either the Labradoodle or the Shih Poo. Half Shih Tzu, half Poodle. I mean, they're just adorable. Have you had any of those in?
We've had a Labradoodle.
Graham Norton's got 2 of those, They're enormous things. They're like horses.
So energetic. They've taken the most intelligent dog, which is the Poodle, against the most energetic dog, which is the Labrador.
Right.
And there you have a dog that's probably, in most cases, more intelligent than the owner.
And that's where you run into problems. All right, we're going to come back and find out more about this next with our friend Cathy Trout from the West Yorkshire Dog Rescue. We'll take the travel and be back with her next. Dogs and puppies. Have you got a dog?
No, I've got a cat.
Genius on the radio. Everybody knows that.
What
song do you think I'm going to play? Trout first, who's from West Yorkshire Dog Rescue. Big problems there. Too many dogs being handed in. We're just going to go to Ryan O'Meara, who's the co-founder of dogsblog.com. Is it as bad as Cathy says then? Too many dogs being handed in and nobody to take them?
Absolutely. I mean, the numbers are just sort of staggering. And when you think about it, the dog is the deserved owner of the title man's best friend, and I think that we're letting them down, because I think what the public aren't aware of is the sheer number. Obviously, with dogsblog.com being a national database, if you like, we get to see the trends as they emerge, and the reason that we actually partnered with the pet food company Butchers to launch National Dog Adoption Month is because we feel we need to make people more aware of just how many dogs there are in rescue, and exactly like Cathy said, the quality of those dogs is astonishing. I think there's a general myth that somehow dogs that that go into rescue are somehow defective, and they're not. They're really not. They're only in rescue because in many cases somebody has got the dog on a whim and then given it up on a whim. And it's astonishing to me, because I think with my dogs, I honestly I miss them if I go away for a day. And if my dog was missing, I just couldn't carry on doing my job, doing anything. I wouldn't be able to sort of cope with it. And yet we hear of people who, they give a dog up because they're going on holiday, and then worse, when they come back, they go and get another one. And I just find that astonishing. And we're very, very lucky that we have the rescue system in place, because if we didn't, I dread to think what would happen, because it is people that just dispose of dogs almost like mobile phones. It's like, well, I got a dog and I don't particularly want the dog at the moment, and at the drop of a hat it's gone. And we need to do something different about this, because it isn't the rescues who are generating this problem. They are picking up the pieces. The people who are generating this problem are irresponsible breeders who are producing dogs with absolutely no regard for the people that are taking the dog on. And unfortunately, we've got an animal welfare crisis. So if we want to call ourselves a nation of animal lovers, we need to do something about that.
I hate to ask you this question, Ryan, and I'm going to come to Kathy next about it, but how many dogs are having to be disposed of by you because there just aren't the people to take them? In your research on the website, co-founder of dogsblog.com, are dogs having to be put down because of lack of owners?
Healthy dogs are being put down in record numbers. I think there was a recent Panorama documentary that focused on Battersea. Battersea admitted, I think probably for the first time, because it's one of those horrible things, but it does need to be out there, that they have got too many dogs and not enough owners. And so if we take a look at a breed such as a Staffordshire Bull Terrier, there are so many of those dogs in rescue that even when people go to adopt one, they just can't adopt enough. And so as a result of that, healthy, well-natured, good dogs who didn't ask to be bred are being euthanized. And I think it's an absolute crime, and we do need to do something different. We can't just simply carry on with the idea that rescue should be picking up the pieces all the time. We actually need something in place, some legislation that makes people far more responsible for the dogs that they produce, because it's completely unfair.
Good to talk to you, Ryan O'Meara from the dogsblog.com. Good to